Welcome to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at Near Protocol. This is going to be the lower time frame video. We did a higher time frame video which you can find up above, so check that out if that's more what you're interested in. Let's get into the charts and see what's going on. Okay, so like we talked about in the higher time frame video, I'm not going to go over this too much because if you want more information, you can check that out. It's linked in the beginning of the video. What we could actually see is two things here that I'm looking out for. So either we're looking for a corrective structure to the downside here, where we're looking for this B wave potential, where we're looking at that possibility of this being a flat correction here, or alternatively, what we are looking for here is the possibility that we are forming a 5-wave move to the downside. So what we're looking for as a possible target area for this would actually be this zone here, between this $1.21 and this 93-cent region. And if we have a look at this blue card, potentially we could even overshoot this slightly and look to push down between this 98-cent to this 87-cent region. So we'll have to keep an eye on this as it develops, but effectively this is what we're looking for. As long as we hold this high here at this $2.41, we have the potential that we could continue to look at this as a impulsive move to the downside, provided we start to get the right structure come in. Now, what I'm looking for here effectively is that if we are going to look at the corrective structure, what I'm saying is that within this count we have this is a W, this is an X, and we're looking at this as A, B, and C. Now currently what I'm looking for within the structure is effectively saying that within here we had this is 1, 2, 1, 2, this has been a third wave into here, and we're looking for a fourth and a fifth. So as long as we actually stay below this $1.33 level, we could actually look for, the rejection to the downside, looking to actually come back to this $1.11 to this $1.06 area. Now, there is always the potential that because we've come down deep enough here already into this typical flat area, we've crossed that A wave low, we could actually start to see price push to the upside. Now, it wouldn't really fit this count that I've currently got, but if we do manage to hold this $1.15 and we actually start to see price push up in a more impulsive way, and we actually see it push up into this level here of this $1.43, what we could see is that we could actually start to form additional structure here to the upside, where this becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then what we'd be saying is that within this we'd be looking for at least a 3-wave move to the upside, where this is ABC, or possibly could actually be starting this C wave already. So we're going to go over it a little bit. Now, if we are looking for the fact that it's continuing to the downside, so this is going to be my primary expectation here until we actually break back above this $1.30. Invalidation would come by crossing this $1.43 area. I am looking for that possibility of continuation to the downside. Now, what I'd be looking for here effectively would be 5-wave structure starting to develop to the downside. Now, we could actually argue that this is ABC and it's completed already. Alternatively, we could find support above this low and then look to push up one more time, looking to possibly come up higher here towards this $1.33 level. Looking at the time comparison though, if we're going to treat this as a wave 2 and this is a wave 4, it is quite probable that this would be looking to actually be completed. Now, if we do look to break down here and we actually look at this as 1, we get a 3-wave move up, and then we start to break down below these lows here. Target is going to be this $1.11 to this $1.06. If we do move down into that zone, we're going to have to watch this blue target box here, which would be looking for an additional 4th and a 5th. So what this would mean is that we have a secondary 4th and a 5th to the downside, where we get another 3-wave move up here, followed by a 5-wave move to the downside, which could actually look to push us down towards this 104 to this 97-cent range. Now, the 1-to-1, like I said, is here at this $1.90, and then the 1.618 of that W wave would be here at this $1.01. Now, if we do push down here, we're going to have to see how we react. If we start to either, from where we currently are, start to push up in a 5-wave move, where we get this as ABC, what we'd be looking for is a 5-wave move to the upside and then breaking of this low to confirm that this is a flat correction as we are looking at it like this. If we get a 5-wave move up and we actually find support again, we'd have to be on the lookout that we could actually be looking to push up higher here. And if I come onto the daily, what this could mean is that we could see something like this as ABC come up into some of these higher levels here. So we go over that within the macro video, so make sure you check it out. Okay, so the other way that we're looking at this is that potentially we are looking to break down in a 5-wave move. Now, we're going to go over some key levels here. This 1618 here would actually be at this 106. So if we do see price push down towards this 106 area, I will be very cautious of the idea of having an additional 4th wave here. Now, what we could actually see if we're looking at this structure here, now because we don't have, the completed move, this channel might be slightly out here. But what the idea is that I'm looking for this as 1, 2, and then within this, what we could see is if we've got additional fourths and fifths, they could do something like this, looking to push us down into this channel every time and looking to find support. So we could actually see this correlate with some of these lows that come in place. Now, if we are looking at it in this way, what I would be saying is that we actually have extension within this third wave. Now, looking at this move, what we can see is the channel is slightly different. So this is just actually taking into account the third wave here. What I would be looking for within this, if we come down into the 4-hourly here, is the idea of a fourth wave here. So we'd be treating this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's pretty much the same idea as with the other count, looking for one more drop to the downside there. Now, within this, what we would be looking for, which would be different to the other count, would be looking for the possibility of actually facing rejection again below this 135. And what this would be looking for is that this would become our third wave. So the yellow third wave over here would actually then be completed, and then we'd get an additional fourth and a fifth, which could look to push us down towards this 106 to this $1, and then we'd be looking for that possibility of another fourth and a fifth, which could actually look to push us down towards this 97 cent region to this 88 region. Now, if we do push down into this level, there is an interesting little zone here, so I'm going to go over this area quickly. Now, what we do have is that this little target box that we have here at this 90 cent to this 86 cent, what we do have within this area is a level of this monthly naked point of control sitting towards this 86 range. So if we do look to push down lower here, I would also be looking at an interaction on some of these lows here. Now, another reason why this is interesting is that if I turn on this fib level here, we can see that we have an 854 that aligns with the top of this zone as well. Now, this would also align with our little box area, so I would be quite interested to see how we react on this level. Now, if we are looking at this as all being within a third wave here, what we would then get is something like this, where we'd be actually looking to have our third wave pushed down deeper. So, you know, that's saying that we could actually get this wave 3 lowered down here, and that would still be looking for a fourth and a fifth. Now, if we did see something like this play out, where we actually see this extension directly here, and we don't get a more substantial fourth wave, because this is going to be key here. So if we're looking for the fourth wave to match with this wave 2, it's going to be similar in size, if not bigger than this wave 2. So that's how we're going to be able to differentiate where we are. Now, if we did actually see a move down towards this 854 and we found support and we continue to follow that count where we're looking for those additional fourths and fifths, what I'd then be looking for would be that possibility that we could actually see our fourth wave actually look to interact with this 786, and we could actually find resistance on this level again if we do look to push up in 3 waves before looking for that continuation down. So this target that I have here of this 98 cent to this 87 cent, this is based off of just coming down to this 1618. If we do look to extend out deeper here, this could potentially look to push us, you know, lower down here. So we can't say that this is completed too early, because this can always look to extend out and extend out. And then, you know, technically speaking, it's even possible for us to push down towards this 64 cent region with this count. So we need to just be careful of that possibility. Some other areas of interest that we have below us is, you know, directly below us here, we have a daily and weekly naked point of control between this $1.20 to this $1.19. If we're looking for that possibility of continuation to the upside, we could see actually price sweep these levels and then look to push up, where this becomes ABC, like we said, for that fourth wave. Alternatively, if we do look to push to the downside, we do have this monthly naked point of control sitting here towards this $1.49, so we'd be keeping an eye on that level as well if we do look to push down there. Having a look at the daily CPR, what we can see is we've actually broken down below these central pivot lines here. Now, if we do continue to break down here and we can't actually get back above these, this could mean that we actually get a retest of this R1 line at the 120, R2 at this 118, R3 at this 144, and this R4 at this $1.11. Now, this would be looking for that possibility to coincide with some of those targets of a fifth wave if we do look to break down. Now, price can break through these levels. It doesn't mean that it has to stop within these ranges. Sometimes we can see it push through them. Now, alternatively, if we do see price actually break back above these central lines here, what we can actually see is price could be gravitated towards this high here, which would be quite an interesting level of this S1 at this $1.27. We have the S2 at the $1.30, S3 at this $1.33, and this S4 up here towards this $1.37 level. So, you know, if we start to break up in a much bigger way here, it would become less likely that we have that fourth wave in place. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. If we do look to push up towards these higher lines, we'd probably be looking to retest the structure that we have up here. So gonna have to keep an eye on that. Now, if we change this over to the weekly, what we can see is we still have support of the weekly CPR lines. Now, what this means is, if we hold this level, what we could see is price could actually be gravitated back up towards this S1 line here, which would be this $1.29, the S2 at this $1.35, and the S3 at this $1.42. So I'll be keeping an eye on those levels. It doesn't mean that price has to just go straight up here. What we can even see with CPR is sometimes we can see price get gravitated towards these targets, and then even just move around within the range and possibly come back and retest this level at a later date. So, it doesn't mean we're just going to blast off. It just gives us some areas to keep an eye on. Alternatively, if we do actually start to reject to the downside here, we have the R1 at this $1.16, the R2 here at this $1.09, and the R3 here at this $1.03. So this is quite an interesting zone. If we do look to break down, I would be keeping an eye on those target areas. Now, moving on to the monthly CPR, what we can see is we are still currently sitting below this R2 line here. Now, this R2 line is sitting here at this $1.25. So if we see any kind of a three-wave move to the upside here, I'd be cautious of that idea that this could be 1, 2, and then we look to break down in a bigger 5-wave structure. Now, if we do look to break down deeper, we have this R3 line sitting here towards this $1. This $1 is coming up a lot, so I would be quite interested to see, if price does move down here, how we react around this level. As well as that, if we did actually rather look to flip this into support, what we could see is price could get gravitated back up here towards this 141, or even back into these central lines here. Now, this is valid throughout the month. Obviously, we've only got a short amount of time left now. So what I'm looking for is, if we do move up here, 162 to this 174, would be looking at that retest of the central CPR lines. So now we do also have the S1 at this $1.83, the S2 at this $2.10, and the S3 at this $2.25. So if we do see price get gravitated back to the upside here, we could see it come up into some of these levels. Now, this would tie into the idea of actually seeing this as A, this is B, and then looking for that possibility of a flat. This 1-to-1 is sitting quite close to this this S3 line, so I would be quite interested to see how we react there. Though I would suspect that if we're going to come this high, we're probably going to sweep these highs here. So we'll have to keep an eye on it and see how the waves actually progress. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out. It is free to join, everyone. And as well as that, there's a great deal on our lifetime membership NFTs. You can find those down below. Check them out. Really are great value for money. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.